how do you see leadership?
Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me just, those 5 levels. I want to talk about
Ah,
leadership
yeah.
and power for a minute. Okay, so at the normal range of human experience, you've got hierarchical leadership and power over a kind of hierarchical power. I'm the boss, you're the employee, I'll tell you what to do. And then I'll measure you and see how successful you were in what I told you to do. It's like that, it's very structured. And as you open up to the second level, you get a kind of more caring kind of leadership, more respectful of others, and being more aware of what's going on with them and being more helpful. And then when you go into visionary leadership, you're creating an ambiance in a culture in which others can buy into the vision and share the passion. There's more vitality, there's more creativity, there's more collaboration. And the power has much more to do with the vision than it does with the person.
Mm.
And then when you go into the 4th level of transformative, I think the power is much more energetic. And you're starting to be able to work in energy spaces and starting to be able to learn how to transform things, how to move them to the next level of their potential. And then when you go into this 5th level, it's totally co-creative. It's hugely dynamic. The power is a beautiful thing. It's not power over. It's more than creative power as well. It's an alchemical force for life that just uplifts and elevates all of life. And it's a beautiful state. At that point, you're becoming what I call source leadership. And source leadership is where you become a source for something. And that ethos that you are, that energy that you source, pervades everything. I was just talking about this on the source leadership call I just did. So, I just did a whole event looking at the Glastonbury Festival, which happens just down the road from us, about 8 miles down the road, right? And Michael Eavis is the founder of the Glastonbury Festival. He started it in 1971 because of the Woodstock Festival. And he had this farm, and he thought, well, I'll have a festival. And I think he had like 100 people show up and whatever. Now there's 210,000 people on 12 fields. Not just music, it's a creative mecca, a super mecca. It's full of love, it's full of joy. And I was just saying, he's a source for it. And his ethos pervades the whole place. People talk about it as utopia, as a love fest, as like they're all the posts this week, because they went home on Sunday and Monday, are like the Glastonbury Blues, because they're like, oh my God, I want to be back there. I want to live there. I want to, because his ethos, he sourced this beautiful collaborative space. Even I heard he put all the music stages on the ley lines that run through here.
Wow.
So every music stage was on a ley line. What? I'm like, who does that? Like,
maybe you should explain, what are ley lines?
Oh, energy lines that course through the world, and they happen to, a lot of them meet on the Glastonbury tour and spread through this area here, and then go off into other places like the Egyptian pyramids and the Mayan ruins and Sedona. They all the ley lines merge through their energy lines through the earth. So
just like we have energy lines in our bodies,
yeah.
there are energy lines on the planet, or in the planet, connecting everything.
Yes.
Actually, also, is it the center of the heart chakra?
Well, they say that. I have no idea whether that's true or not. It certainly feels that way.
It feels that way. When I visited the Glastonbury, I really felt completely different
energy,
frequency, vibration than on any other part of the globe that I've been traveling around the
Me
world.
too. Centaur and I traveled around for a year and a half, and we were like, we're coming back here. This is where we belong. But you
Yeah.
can feel it. You come over the hill from Bristol, which is about half an hour's drive away. You come over the hill and you can see the tour in the distance. You can feel the difference. You drive into it. The field of energy that comes off this area is extraordinary. And so many people have contributed that over so long that it's an extraordinary place and the whole of the town of Glastonbury is a creative mecca as well. They have a 55 building art murals, like 2-story high art on buildings, 55 of them, and they have a mural trail now, and there are musicians always on the street busking, always, and everybody dresses the way they want to dress. It's like there's no dress code. It's like rainbow hair and elf ears and
it's just for you. That is actually your magical surroundings, your magical.
That's where I live.
Yeah, it makes
It
total
is
sense.
quite extraordinary. And I would say, if I applied that out to everybody, you kind of have to find where your home is. The place in the world where you dwell in your greatest part of yourself. The place where the energy is calling you into the biggest work that you can contribute to the planet. When you find that place, it's so helpful to living life in these kind of higher vibe presences.
Obviously.
You know, it's so different. So I'm having said all that, I want to bring it back to what you were talking about, problem versus possibility. And I want to say one thing about that. Every problem has in it enormous potential and possibility. It's kind of why it comes to us. I don't think and I think one of the things I've been about in recent years is trying to shift us from having to have traumas and problems and struggles in order to get breakthroughs. Because if we were more consciously aware of the signals that are being given to us by the universe, the source, whatever you want to call that, then we don't have to have the problem occur to get the movement. You can get the movement forward for the breakthrough without the problem. The problems only come to source the breakthroughs. And so if you're still experiencing problems and challenges, then the best thing you can do is get the breakthrough as fast as you can get it. So as fast as you get it, the problem disappears.
And that makes total sense. I mean, like from a scientific point of view of these, I mean, like the problems are vibrating on lower frequencies. So when you get access to higher frequencies, I mean, like the problems just fall away. But then what I experience once in a while, when I stand right before a new breakthrough, it is as if I am being pulled a little back and a little down, and I just dip my toes in some childhood trauma or some of these old things, and I'm like, what is this still here? And why is this still coming here? And then I'm like, oh, maybe it's just because I'm just going, whoa. And then I don't know if I'm going like a little back or down in order to have more speed forward and upwards. I have thought
can I give you an explanation of this? And a lot of people will disagree with me about this, and I'm okay with that. So if they don't believe it, it's okay with me. So the consciousness is very immersed at the moment into looking to the past to resolve the present. It started with psychology in the 60s, 70s. Really, psychology came to the fore in those years. And then it emerged into spiritual clearing and ancestral and all of that in the past. But one of the things I've discovered, don't look there. Just don't look. It doesn't matter. It's not relevant, really, truly. Because when you look there, it drops your vibration. And even if you clear it, it's like you said, what? It's back again? No, it really isn't back again. It's only because you looked.
Ah, yeah, of course. It was so funny because I got the message also, don't look back, you're not going that way.
Yeah, no,
And I was like,
look up.
that's right, that's right. I have to look that way because this is where I'm going. But
Because people spend a lot of time in the processing of the past
yeah,
instead of in the emergence of the breakthrough.
yeah.
And a lot of people really truly believe that you have to process the past to get to the breakthrough. I know that's not true. You can just go straight for the breakthrough. And then the past just disappears. It's irrelevant. It doesn't matter, actually, because the breakthrough supersedes everything.
But how do we then perceive of how do we perceive of the war in Ukraine right now?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
I
in this,
have my own views of it, my own theories of
yeah,
it.
it just popped
I
up
can
for
see it
me
on
the
many
other day.
levels. Okay, I can see it on many levels, and I can get people wouldn't necessarily agree with me either, or they might go, yeah, and there's more than that.
Doesn't matter.
The breakthroughs that I've seen coming from it, even though, like, yes, there's a lot of terrible things going on, I get it, is the emergence of a culture that's emerging. I'm not saying it was always there, maybe it was, but the emergence of a culture in Ukraine and the inspiration that's coming from that is quite extraordinary. And okay, I'll use a different example. I read a book years ago called Urban Shaman by Serge Khalil King, and he's a shaman. And he was sharing the secrets of the kahuna shamans. And he said, if a hurricane is heading towards a city, a highly populated area, that sometimes the shamans can go in and they can turn veer it slightly away from the populated area. But sometimes you can't veer it away from the populated area because it has a purpose of going there. And he said what they discovered when they couldn't veer it away and it was going to go there is that if you looked at that area later, the regeneration, the economic monies that came into it, all of that kind of thing was extraordinary in how it grew the area. So the hurricane had a purpose. And it's kind of like, and I'm not suggesting we have wars for purpose. I think we should have no more wars. And in fact, when it started, the Ukraine war, I thought, this is the last one. This is the one that ends all the wars forever, because we're right on the cusp of this. Right? And I know there's wars in the world. I get that. And I do not agree with them. And I don't ever want to see them happen again. But there is a potential and a possibility emerging from that horrible strife that's occurring. Again, remember I said trauma to breakthrough? That the world doesn't easily move to breakthroughs. Like if we could just get no wars, we wouldn't have to go through all this stuff. So there's all of this newness and I've never seen a war occur like this in this way. Most wars you experience, I mean, even with this one, you experience the awfulness of it, right? The news is constantly full of it. But there's also an inspiration behind it. There's a newness embedded in it that's quite interesting. The way the whole population surged forth, the way all the men went into, the Ukrainian men joined the forces to fight. And did you hear the story about the drones? What they did with the drones? Do you remember when it first started? We're a little off topic, but this is a really interesting story.
Yeah.
You remember there was a huge, like miles and miles and miles of tanks coming from Russia into the Ukraine and heading for Kiev. Kiev, I think that's how you pronounce it. And then it stopped, right? How it stopped is these 5 guys who had been working with the previous Ukrainian army, military, were drone guys, and they had just been let go by the military because they weren't going to do it anymore. So these drone guys took their drones and dropped munitions on the first tanks.
Ooh.
And the tanks got stalled in the road and nobody could get around them. So it stopped the whole, it was a David and Goliath story. Did you never hear that story?
I didn't hear that story.
Oh, you
No.
see, I was following it all really closely because when it first happened, my consciousness innovation group, we spent the whole of the first 2 weeks working on miraculous possibilities coming from it. So it's still amazing to me that it's still going. I'm in amazement that, whoa, like I've never seen anything take so long to fulfill its breakthrough. But for whatever reason, everything has purpose, and I'm sitting with the greater purpose of it
Yeah.
and continuing to. And the other thing that happened with this that I thought was fascinating is I don't think, usually if something like that happened, you would bring the whole country. That didn't happen with this.
No.
You saw the Russian people and the Ukrainian people, like they weren't that different. And it wasn't like that. It didn't occur in the same way. And I thought this is really interesting that you see it more as hierarchical leadership going on. And that's emerging into something new right now. The whole of the hierarchical leadership is just dissipating in the world. I'm watching it dissipate. And a lot of people would make a case that that's not so. I get it, but I'm watching it dissipate in very subtle ways.
How do you see that?
Well, I don't think I want to get into politics per se, or even in various countries, but if you notice a lot of the really vocal, well, okay, in the UK, Boris Johnson was the prime minister who took us out, Brexit and the whole crazy stuff. And now he's been left parliament. He's been virtually kicked out of parliament. Like that's just one example of a recognition of something like, hey guys, I don't think we can do it this way. And there are stories right now, I share them in some of the groups I'm in. Like in Paris, there's a 15 street block of neighbors who created a coalition of neighbors. It's called the something of neighbors. I can't remember. It's like and they create projects for themselves to support one another. In London, there's a guy, he and his wife, they're artists, and they decided they'd turn their whole street into a solar powered street. And
Wow.
they crowdfunded the whole thing and got like hundreds of thousands of pounds and thousands of people joining a membership. And they documented the whole process, and they turned the whole, even people who couldn't afford solar power suddenly everybody got solar power on the street. And then he's created how other neighborhoods can do the same thing. Because when you do a whole neighborhood, you get discounts on the solar power. So it was
Actually the kind of stories, the kind of inspiration that we really need.
yeah, it's innovation.
It makes us think, it makes us expand our consciousness, it makes us,
Yes.
I mean, it inspires to search for new possibilities.
Yeah. Well, it's where we're going. It's crowd-sourced, citizen-created, collaborative, co-creative communities. And I think that's where we're going, is that way.
It's so interesting how the power of perspective, the power of storytelling or stories, the power of how we perceive what is occurring in the world. And I've really been, and the past couple of years, I mean, like since the beginning of COVID, I've really been looking at how also the media, the power of the media, and how they perceive events and the storytelling, and how much we need a new
Yeah.
a new way of
Yeah.
reporting about
Exactly. Well,
events.
if you come back to what we're talking about, taking every problem has potential and possibilities attached to it, and a breakthrough that's waiting to happen. If we could get more excited about the breakthroughs and less focused on the problem, because the solutions to the breakthroughs occur in the alchemical quantum field. There's solutions there for everything that we haven't thought of yet. I'm amazed by the quantum field. I mean, it's just, you could call that consciousness, you could call that the genius field, you could call it the universe. You know, there are many names for it. But in there exist things that we've never thought of before, that nobody's ever thought of before. The universe is dreaming up stuff all the time. And I think our role is to reach out and call that through us, to actualize it into reality. It's not a weirdy woo-woo way to live. It's a very dynamic, high vibing, thriving, creative way to live. And you flow genius through you. You get new ideas by the tons. I get in the shower and they just, you know, like, oh my God, how am I going to remember all this when I get out of the shower?
Okay, so I guess if anyone listening to this feel themselves in a place of lack and limitations or stuck somewhere, I would highly recommend checking out soleragreen.com and all the fabulous events, courses, possibilities to work with you in groups or one-on-one.
Thank you.
To get new perspectives on anything, everything, because everything is actually possible to alchemize
Yeah,
and to and to take to a whole new level, opening up, expanding for possibilities.
absolutely. And that's creating the world we want to live in, which is what you're up to, you know?
So a short answer, Soleira, to how do we create the world we love to live in? The short answer.
I would say seek newness, seek adventure, seek possibility. Look for the breakthroughs easily. Don't get stuck in the past or anything. Look for what opportunities are on offer from no matter what's happening, no matter what you're viewing, and raise the vibrational frequency and look big. Because when you look big, you get a whole different way of living life. It's more than even becoming a visionary. You become a source creator of life and an alchemical activator of possibilities in the quantum field, if you want to say it that way, which might sound a bit strange.
And it is actually possible for all of us.
Yeah, absolutely.
We all have the possibility
Yes.
inside of us. We just need to awaken to our inner superhuman ability.
Yes. Centaur and I wrote the book, Becoming Superhumans, which is, he wrote chapters, I wrote chapters, we did some together. It's a good book about accessing it for yourself. It's on Amazon.
So you know what, I will make show notes, and I'm also doing a summary on the webpage about you and all your offerings. I will also mention Centauri, your husband, and
oh yeah,
he's
a whiz.
so I will also invite him on the show at some point.
Oh, fantastic! He'd love that.
He would love that to I know to talk about all his. He also has written a lot of beautiful books that open up. I mean, like the power of fantasy.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Has, I think, been so underrated.
I agree, because fantasy is the emergence of new ideas and new possibility, and it can reshape. Look at Lord of the Rings, you know, and all the stuff that Gandalf was an inspiration for me. You know, and other books that I've read, they were inspirations. They were a call forward for me to want to be something more.
Yeah, and then being able actually to step into a level of reality or consciousness, and actually making it real, like grounding it and making it like real tangible results. all around you.
And can I also say, making it your own, as in each person has unique mastery and genius that is unique to them. And it isn't like somebody can say, do this, do this, do this. I mean, yes, those are good things, but you have to discover your own unique source power and your own unique way of expressing that. And I truly believe every single person has unique mastery inside of them, and it's getting that to emerge and express into the world that's hugely important for the whole world to thrive.
Yeah, yeah, and it is so important that we all have, I mean, like the rules of the game, so to speak, are so individual. And
Yeah,
when we, instead of searching out there, we go within and open up and become
yeah,
the whole, we actually get access to our own unique
yeah,
path, mission, rules,
absolutely.
everything in
You know,
order.
I'm just laughing. I just realized I'm sitting in Centauri's office and it says secret lab behind me on his office chair. I thought, yeah, that's us. We're the secret lab. We're co-creating the new world.
So perfect.
Isn't that
Thank you
funny?
so much.
Oh, it's been wonderful. Thank you, thank you, thank you for doing this. I loved every second of it.
So much, Soleira.
Brilliant.